I've been doing this for 38 years. I've sat in rooms where fortunes disappear between breakfast and lunch, not because of fraud, not because of market collapse, because someone sent 7 words they thought were private. The client was worth $11 million on paper. Commercial real estate, 3 properties fully paid, investment accounts his grandfather started. He wasn't flashy. He drove a 10-year-old car. His wife handled the household budget. They had 2 kids in private school. He texted his business partner at 9:47 on a Tuesday morning. "We can bury this before anyone knows." The partner screenshotted it, forwarded it to his own attorney, filed it with the state bar by noon. The text wasn't even about anything illegal. It was about a zoning variance they were trying to expedite, paperwork that got stuck, a delay they wanted to handle quietly. Completely ordinary. Happens every week in commercial development. But the word bury became the only word that mattered. Discovery took 8 months. Every email, every text, every voicemail, his phones, his wife's phone, his assistant's laptop. The partner's attorney requested communications going back 6 years. They found nothing criminal. They found a pattern. Casual language, shortcuts, inside jokes about navigating bureaucracy, messages that sounded worse in a conference room than they did at the time. The zoning board pulled their permits. The city launched an ethics inquiry. The bank that held a construction loan called it due. He had 90 days to produce $4 million. He couldn't. The properties went into default. One sold at auction for 60 cents on the dollar. The other 2 went back to the lender. His investment accounts were liquidated to cover legal fees, and the settlement his partner demanded to keep it out of court. 18 months later, he was working for someone else, not because he committed a crime, because 7 words made it impossible for anyone to work with him. That's what people misunderstand. The law doesn't need to find you guilty. It just needs to find you expensive. Most of what destroys people isn't dramatic. It's a signature on page 11 that you didn't read. It's a verbal agreement you thought was binding because you've known someone for 15 years. It's the assumption that silence protects you when in fact it's being documented as refusal to cooperate. I had a case once. Divorce. The husband earned $400,000 a year. The wife didn't work outside the home. Standard arrangement in their circle. He wanted to keep the house. Offered her half the retirement accounts and $70,000 a year in support. She said no. She wanted the house. He said we built that house together. We picked the tile. We planted the trees. I'm not walking away from it. She said fine. We'll let the court decide. He didn't realize she'd been keeping records for 3 years. Every dinner he missed. Every school event he skipped. Every weekend trip he took without the kids. She had emails to his assistant. Credit card receipts from cities he told her were work trips, dates that didn't match his calendar. Nothing illegal, nothing you could charge him with, just evidence that he'd been living a separate life. The judge awarded her the house. Full custody. Support tripled what he'd offered. His attorney told him to settle before discovery. He refused. He thought being right mattered. It didn't. The things that ruin people are always things they didn't think counted. A business loan you co-signed because your brother-in-law was family. A verbal promise you made in front of 3 people who all remember it differently. A password you shared with someone you trusted who later sold you out. The law doesn't care about your intentions. It cares about what you agreed to and what you can prove. I've seen people lose houses because they're remodeled without permits. I've seen people lose custody because they posted photos at a party the same weekend. They said their kids were sick. I've seen partnerships collapse because someone used a company card for personal expenses and called a loan they'd pay back. The pattern is always the same. People think the rules are guidelines. They think enforcement is optional. They think as long as they mean, well, it won't matter. Then someone decides it does matter. And everything you thought was understood becomes a question of evidence. I stopped giving my own opinion in writing about 15 years ago, even on internal memos, even to people I've worked with for decades, because I've seen my own words read back to me in rooms where context didn't matter and tone was inadmissible. I had a colleague once who wrote in an email that a certain contract provision was aggressive, but probably defensible. The word probably got pulled in a malpractice claim. He spent 4 years fighting it. Won eventually. It cost him $300,000 and every referral in that industry. One word. People treat communication like conversation. It's not. It's documentation. Every email you send is an exhibit waiting to be filed. Every text is a timestamp with your name attached. Every voicemail is a recording that can be slowed down and replayed in front of people who've never met you. And the moment something goes wrong, all of it becomes evidence of pattern, evidence of intent, evidence that you knew. I've had clients tell me they didn't know a contract was binding. I've had clients tell me they thought a handshake was enough. I've had clients tell me they were told something verbally that directly contradicts the written agreement they signed. None of it matters. The paper wins. Every time. People think litigation is about truth. It's about admissible truth. It's about who documented what and when. It's about whether you can prove the thing you say actually happened in a way a third party will accept. Most people can't. They remember the conversation. They remember the assurances. They remember the relationship. They just can't prove it. And in the absence of proof, the other side's version becomes a version. I've watched people lose businesses because they didn't register trademarks. I've watched people lose children because they didn't file custody modifications. I've watched people lose houses because they assumed their name on the deed meant it was safe. Assumption is not a legal strategy. The millionaire I mentioned earlier thought his reputation would protect him. He'd been in business in that city for 20 years. He knew the mayor. He sat on 2 nonprofit boards. He thought people knew him. They did. That's why the text worked. Because it confirmed what people suspected but never said. The truth is most people are one decision away from being someone they don't recognize. One signature, one message, one moment of impatience or trust or fatigue. And the thing about those moments is you don't know which one it is until it's too late. You think you'll see it coming. You think you'll know when something matters. You won't. The real damage is quiet. It's the clause you skipped, the meeting you missed, the document you didn't keep, the conversation you had in the hallway instead of in writing. No one tells you it's happening. No one warns you. You find out later when someone files something and you're asked to respond, and you realize you don't have anything to respond with. By then, the clock's already running. The fees are accumulating. The story is being written. And you're trying to defend a version of events that only exists in your memory. I've seen it 1,000 times. People who thought they were protected. People who thought they were careful. People who thought because nothing had gone wrong yet that nothing would. Then it did. And the things they thought didn't matter became the only things that did. The millionaire still lives in that city. He rents now. Works for a firm that used to compete with him. His ex-partner bought one of his buildings out of foreclosure. They see each other occasionally. Professional events. Fundraisers. They don't speak. He didn't break the law. He didn't lie. He didn't steal. He just sent a text he thought was private. And now every conversation he has is careful. Every email gets reviewed twice. Every agreement goes through counsel. He learned. Most people do. Just later than they should have. The cases I see now aren't different from the ones I saw 30 years ago. The technology changes. The language updates. The principles don't. People still trust the wrong person. Still sign without reading. Still assume good faith will carry them through. It won't. Goodwill is enforceable. Memory isn't evidence. Your version of events is just your version until you can prove it. And by the time you need to prove it, the other side's already 3 steps ahead. That's the part no one tells you. The damage is done before you know you're in trouble. The message is sent. The signature is dry. The deadline has passed. You can fight it. You can hire people like me. You can spend years trying to undo something that took 30 seconds to create. Or you can accept that certain mistakes don't get corrected. They just get managed. Most people choose management. It's cheaper. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here because I've seen what happens when people don't do it. The files are still open. The hearings are still scheduled. The consequences are still compounding. And somewhere right now, someone is typing something they think doesn't matter. It does.